It seems that human nature is such that we only force ourselves to change when things get really bad and when we feel so uncomfortable that we can't stand our routines anymore. This is true for an individual, and it is for a society. It takes a crisis, a trauma, a loss, an illness, or a tragedy to make us look at who we are, what we do, how we live, what we feel, and what we believe or know. Only then can we undertake true change. It often takes the worst case scenario to materialize for us to start making beneficial changes for our health, relationships, career, family, and future. My message is this: wait for what? This excerpt is taken from the book How to Create a New Me by Joe Dispenza. Joe reports that we expect traumas in our lives to be able to change, and with that, we develop several diseases and remove any possibility of prosperity from our lives. We are beings made of energy, and with that, we are able to co-create with the universe what we want. To do this, we use the law of attraction, but we cannot manifest prosperity in our life if our mind is not healthy. We need to change first, be a new version of ourselves. This will give you great chances to manifest what you want in your life. Joe teaches the secrets to be a new me, and if you want to know the secrets that Joe reveals in his book, stay until the end and I'll tell you. Joe Dispenza is an American born in 1962. Joe studied biochemistry and graduated in neuroscience, and so he has dedicated his career to writing works that can help people to be different. He is the author of great books such as How to Create a New Me, It is Heal Yourself. For Joe, we are quantum beings formed by atoms, and with that we can produce energy waves. These waves are of energy come into contact with the universe, and through thoughts, they can co-create our prosperity and change our I. If you can accept this paradigm as a possibility, it says for pure reason that you would also have to accept that the following statement is possible. In order to create something different from what we are used to in our personal world, we will have to change the routine way we think and feel. Otherwise, by repeatedly thinking and feeling like the day before and the day before that, we will continue to create the same circumstances in our lives that will make us feel the same emotions and cause us to think accordingly. Without wanting to exaggerate, let me compare this situation to the proverbial hamster on a wheel. By constantly thinking about our problems, consciously or unconsciously, we will only create more similar difficulties. And maybe we think about our problems so much because we are constantly revisiting the same familiar feelings that gave rise to the problem. If we insist on thinking and feeling identically to our life circumstances, we will reaffirm that particular reality. Joe teaches that to overcome this, we must overcome three things: time, body, and environment. To overcome the negative thoughts that hover over our lives, we must replace the environment, adapt to the times, and know how to deal with our body. The best way to get these negative thoughts out of ourselves is to replace those thoughts with other activities. If we say to ourselves, "Don't think of a giraffe," we're going to think about the giraffe because that's how our mind works. So the best way to keep bad and negative thoughts away from us is to replace them with other thoughts, preferably positive thoughts that will bring prosperity to our lives. Everything we think, our subconscious works to make us manifest, without us having control of the situation. And if we surround ourselves with negative thoughts, saying that we will not succeed, or that we're not able to reach the desired goal, then your subconscious will work so that you really don't arrive. As an effect of this neurohabituation, the true realities of the inner mind and the outer world seem to become almost inseparable. For example, if we can start thinking about our problems, our mind and our life will merge into one. The objective world is then colored by the perceptions of the subjective mind, whereby reality continually accommodates itself to them. We get lost in the illusion of the dream. Neuroscience has proven that we can modify our brain. Therefore, our behaviors, attitudes, and beliefs simply by thinking differently without changing anything in the environment. Through mental rehearsal, repeatedly imagining that we are doing something, the brain circuits are able to reorganize to reflect our objectives. We have the power to make a thought so real that the brain changes to the point where it seems as if the event has already become a physical reality. We can modify it so that it is ahead of any real experience in our outside world. And to change this situation in our life, Dr. Joe Dispenza expresses that we have to change our thinking so that we may be able to achieve greater prosperity. And this change, mainly part of our thoughts, we must replace them so that our subconscious understands that we want to be a new version, that we are creating a new me. Joe expresses, all change starts with thinking. We can immediately start forming new connections and neurological circuits that reflect our new thoughts. And nothing gets the brain more excited than when it's learning, taking in knowledge and experiences. These are the aphrodisiacs of the brain. It caresses all the signals it receives through our five senses. It processes billions of pieces of information every second, analyzes, examines, identifies, extrapolates, classifies, and archives information, which it can retrieve on a needed basis. In reality, the human brain is the quintessential supercomputer on our planet. But do you know what the main key is for us to create a new me? The decision. The thought of wanting to change and wanting to be better will lead us to decide. When we decide to change our life, our subconscious will receive waves to change, thus making us different, co-creating all the prosperity we desire in our lives. Joe claims that the best way for us to achieve the power to change ourselves through thought is through meditation. When I use the term meditation, you may think of someone sitting cross-legged in front of an altar at home, or a yogi sitting in a remote Himalayan cave, or something like that. This individual may be a representation of what they understand to be the way to be silent, to empty the mind, to focus all attention on a thought, or to engage in any of the variants of practice of meditation. There are many different meditation techniques, but in this book, my desire is to help you to reap the most desirable benefits of meditation, to be able to enter the operating system of the subconscious mind, to let go of the person you have always been, and to get away from your thoughts, beliefs, actions, and emotions, and simply start to observe. And, once there, reprogram your brain and body for a new mind. When you stop producing thoughts, beliefs, actions, and emotions unconsciously and take control over them through your conscious will, you will be able to free yourself from the prison of your old self and become a new being. To perform the meditation, Joe gives some tips. Prepare the environment. Choose the best place. Avoid the distractions of your environment. Make sure you're not interrupted or distracted by other people or pets. Music. Music can be helpful, as long as you don't play music that brings distracting ideas to your mind. Prepare the body. Choose the best position. Prepare your mental state. Master the ego. From that point, you're ready to go into meditation and reach your deepest thoughts. But remember, you can start practicing today to change who you are. Don't wait for trauma or getting sick. Make a decision and choose to change. Therefore, at this moment, I invite you to leave here in the comments words that you're capable of, you're prosperous, and they will achieve all the goals you want. Use the comments on this video to channel your co-creation energies. If you want to know more about the law of attraction, more videos from our channel are showing on your screen right now. Click and see you there. If you liked the video, leave a like to help us grow and subscribe so you don't miss any videos we post. To the next.